Hi there, fellow plant lovers, ready to bring the outdoors in? Indoor vertical gardening is a fun and rewarding way to grow fresh herbs, veggies, and beautiful flowers right in your own home, no matter how much space you have. Whether you're an experienced gardener or just starting out, this guide will give you the tools and knowledge to create your own thriving vertical garden. We'll cover everything from choosing the right plants to troubleshooting common problems. Let's get growing. Why is vertical gardening all the rage? Well, it's not just about the cool factor, although it does look pretty amazing. Vertical gardens save space, making them perfect for apartments, small homes, or anyone wanting to maximize their growing area. Plus, they're incredibly versatile. You can grow almost anything vertically, from herbs and vegetables to succulents and flowering plants. And let's not forget the joy of fresh, homegrown food right at your fingertips. Simply put, indoor vertical gardening is growing plants vertically indoors using a structure that maximizes space. Think of it as gardening on a wall. It's a fantastic way to bring the outdoors in and enjoy fresh, homegrown food year-round. Plus, it adds a touch of natural beauty to any room. Ready to get your hands dirty? Whether you're a seasoned plant parent or just starting out, building your own vertical garden is a fun and rewarding project that can transform any indoor space. Not only does it bring a touch of nature into your home, but it also maximizes your growing area, making it perfect for apartments or rooms with limited floor space. Let's walk through the process together, step by step, so you can create a lush, living wall that fits your style and needs. The first step is to choose your structure. There are so many options out there, from sleek, modern wall-mounted systems to rustic, repurposed materials. Think about the look you want and the space you have available. Do you want a statement piece that covers an entire wall, or a smaller modular setup that can be expanded over time? You can buy pre-made vertical garden kits, which often come with everything you need and are easy to assemble, making them a great choice for beginners or anyone short on time. Or, if you love a good DIY project, consider repurposing old pallets, bookshelves, or even shoe organizers. These can be transformed into unique vertical gardens with a bit of creativity and some basic tools. For those who want a truly custom look, building your own structure from scratch is a fantastic option. Use wood, metal, or even recycled materials to design a vertical garden that perfectly fits your space and personality. Sketch out your design, measure your wall, and gather your supplies before you start building. Next, gather your materials. Depending on your chosen structure, you'll need items like pots or planting pockets, a high-quality planting medium, a waterproof liner to protect your walls, and some basic tools like a hammer, nails, or a drill. Don't forget to pick up a variety of plants that thrive indoors and suit your lighting conditions. Before you start planting, prep your structure. Make sure it's sturdy enough to hold the weight of the soil and plants, and that it's waterproof to prevent any damage to your walls or floors. If you're using wood, consider sealing it or lining it with plastic. Double-check that everything is secure and level. It's also important to ensure your vertical garden is the right size for your space. Measure your wall carefully and visualize how the finished garden will look. Make sure there's enough light for your plants, and that you can easily access the garden for watering and maintenance. Now comes the fun part, planting. Start by adding your chosen planting medium to each pocket or container. Gently remove your plants from their pots, loosen the roots, and nestle them into their new homes. Arrange your plants thoughtfully, mixing different textures and colors for a vibrant, eye-catching display. As you plant, add more soil around the roots and press gently to secure each plant in place. Be careful not to overcrowd. Give each plant enough space to grow and thrive. Consider grouping plants with similar water and light needs together for easier care. Once you're done, step back and admire your work. With a little care and attention, your vertical garden will flourish, bringing fresh air, beauty, and a sense of accomplishment to your home. Not all plants are created equal, especially when it comes to indoor vertical gardening. So think about your space's light conditions. Do you have bright indirect light, or is it a bit darker? Leafy greens like lettuce and spinach tolerate lower light conditions, while herbs like basil and rosemary prefer brighter spots. Also, choose plants with similar watering needs to make maintenance easier. Group thirsty plants together and those that prefer drier conditions in another section. So when it comes to keeping your vertical garden thriving, the first thing to consider is light. Light is absolutely essential for healthy plant growth, and it's often the most overlooked factor when people set up their indoor gardens. Without enough light, even the most resilient plants can start to look leggy, pale, or just generally unhappy. So, let's talk about how to make sure your vertical garden gets the light it needs to truly flourish. Most indoor plants really do best in bright indirect light. This means placing your vertical garden near a window where it can get plenty of natural sunlight, but not so much that the leaves get scorched. South or east-facing windows are usually ideal, as they provide lots of gentle, filtered light throughout the day. If you notice your plants stretching toward the window or their leaves turning yellow, it might be a sign they need a little more light, or perhaps a bit less direct sun. And hey, if your space doesn't get much natural light, maybe you live in an apartment with small windows or your garden is in a darker corner, you might want to think about supplementing with some grow lights. LED grow lights are a fantastic option because they're energy efficient and can be set up to mimic the natural day-night cycle that plants love. You can even get lights with adjustable spectrums to suit different types of plants, from leafy greens to flowering varieties. Just remember to position the lights close enough to the plants, but not so close that they overheat or dry out. Using a timer for your grow lights can also help keep your plants on a consistent schedule, which is especially important during the shorter days of winter. Aim for about 12 to 16 hours of light per day, depending on the types of plants you're growing. Now, about water. Overwatering is actually a pretty common mistake, especially with vertical gardens where drainage can sometimes be tricky. It's easy to think that more water equals happier plants, but too much moisture can actually lead to root rot and other problems. The key is to water thoroughly, but only when your plants really need it. It's important to check the soil moisture regularly and only water when the top inch feels dry to the touch. You can use your finger to test the soil or pick up a simple moisture meter for extra accuracy. If the soil still feels damp, hold off on watering for another day or two. Remember, it's always better to underwater a little than to overwater. Healthy roots are the foundation of thriving plants, so keeping the soil just moist enough, never soggy, will help your vertical garden stay vibrant and lush. And don't forget, different plants have their own unique watering needs. Some, like ferns and peace lilies, prefer consistently moist soil, while others, like succulents or pothos, like to dry out a bit between waterings. If you have a mix of plant types in your vertical garden, try grouping plants with similar needs together, or use individual care tags to remind yourself of each plant's preferences. For tropical plants, occasional misting can also help boost humidity, especially in dry indoor environments. Just be careful not to overdo it, as too much moisture on the leaves can sometimes encourage mold or mildew. As for nutrients, regular fertilizing is super important for indoor plants, since they just don't have access to the same nutrients as outdoor ones. Over time, the nutrients in potting soil get used up, and your plants will need a little extra boost to keep growing strong and healthy. Try using a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer, and make sure to follow the package instructions. Usually feeding your plants every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season is enough, but always check the specific needs of your plant varieties. Too much fertilizer can actually harm your plants, so when in doubt, less is more. With the right balance of light, water, and nutrients, your vertical garden will not only survive, it'll truly thrive, bringing fresh greenery and life into your home all year round. Even with the best care and attention, indoor gardens can sometimes run into a few issues. It's completely normal to encounter challenges along the way, and learning how to troubleshoot them is a key part of becoming a successful indoor gardener. Let's start by talking about one of the most common problems: pests. Keep an eye out for common indoor pests like aphids, spider mites, and fungus gnats. These tiny invaders can quickly multiply and cause damage to your plants if left unchecked. Aphids often cluster on new growth and can cause leaves to curl or yellow, while spider mites create fine webbing and tiny speckles on leaves. Fungus gnats, on the other hand, are small flying insects that thrive in moist soil and can harm plant roots. If you spot any of these pests, don't panic. Using insecticidal soap or neem oil is a great natural way to tackle them. Spray the affected areas thoroughly, making sure to get the undersides of leaves where pests like to hide. Repeat treatments every few days until the problem is under control. You can also try wiping leaves with a damp cloth to physically remove pests, or introduce beneficial insects like ladybugs if your indoor space allows. When it comes to diseases, proper air circulation is really key to preventing problems. Many fungal and bacterial diseases thrive in stagnant, humid environments, so keeping the air moving around your plants can make a big difference. Consider using a small fan to gently circulate air and avoid crowding your plants too closely together. Make sure there's good airflow around your plants and try to avoid overwatering. Overly damp conditions can encourage mold, mildew, and root rot, which are some of the most common issues in indoor gardens. Check your soil regularly by touching it with your finger. If it feels soggy, hold off on watering until it dries out a bit. And if you notice yellowing leaves, that might mean overwatering, underwatering, or a nutrient deficiency. Yellowing can also be a sign of poor drainage, or even a lack of sunlight, so it's important to observe your plants closely and consider all possible causes. Compare the affected plant to healthy ones nearby to help narrow down the issue. So, check your soil moisture with a moisture meter or by simply pressing your finger into the soil. If the soil feels dry an inch below the surface, it's time to water. If it's still damp, wait a bit longer. Monitoring moisture levels helps prevent both overwatering and underwatering, which are two of the most common mistakes in indoor gardening. Adjust your watering schedule if needed, and remember that different plants have different needs. Some may prefer to dry out between waterings, while others like consistently moist soil. If you use an automatic watering system, make sure it's set appropriately for the types of plants you're growing. Always water at the base of the plant to avoid wetting the leaves, which can encourage disease, and make sure you're fertilizing regularly. Indoor plants rely on you for all their nutrients, so use a balanced fertilizer according to the instructions on the label. Watch for signs of nutrient deficiency, like pale leaves or slow growth, and adjust your feeding routine as needed. With a little observation and care, you'll be able to keep your indoor garden healthy, vibrant, and thriving all year round. There's honestly nothing quite like harvesting fresh herbs and vegetables from your own indoor garden. Just imagine clipping fresh basil for your pasta sauce, tossing homegrown lettuce into your salad, or enjoying the sweet scent of your very own chamomile tea. Indoor vertical gardening isn't just about growing plants, it's really about building a deeper connection with nature and, of course, enjoying the fruits and vegetables of your hard work. Congratulations on starting your indoor vertical gardening adventure. Remember, gardening is a journey of continuous learning and, well, a bit of experimentation. Don't be afraid to try new things, research different plant varieties, and connect with other indoor gardening enthusiasts. Happy growing!